The other night, I was in that awful state where I had to get up and brush my teeth in order to actually feel good about going to sleep, but I was too tired to get out of bed and brush my teeth, so I was watching YouTube Shorts instead. God. Anyway, I got to this one about some K-pop idol, and the theme of the video was just that a fan photographer had taken pictures of this girl, and they turned out super well. I guess the implication was that these were candid photos that showed the girl's natural beauty. And obviously the pictures were amazing. Oh my god, this girl is so beautiful. She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. The pictures were also very obviously edited. Well edited, in that tasteful way where you can see this faint patterned impression of pores on the nose, but nowhere on the cheeks. And the eyes have these hidden sparkles in them, but the hair is a little fuzzy. There's still some loose strands. The photos looked very professional, whether taken by a fan or not. They'd obviously been given a professional treatment. And the girl was also, before the editing, wearing a lot of makeup. Fake eyelashes, candy red lips, big blue eye contacts. Makeup that really suited her. Again, she looked amazing. But I don't just want to talk about how pretty she was. It's the comments that were the important part. Because all the comments that weren't, Turkish spam bots, were having the same conversation over and over again. The same argument, I would say. And that argument had a very specific framework. On one side were people pointing out that the pictures were edited, that the girl was wearing makeup. And though I don't think, at least most of these people, were saying that with any actual malintent, that is how it was being taken by everyone else. Pointing out that the appearance in the pictures was an augmented one, that was an attack on the girl. It was essentially the same as calling her ugly. An insult to her character even, saying she was a liar, disingenuous. So the other side, then, were this girl's defenders. Very intense defenders, not just defending her character, but interestingly, her beauty itself. I saw a lot of comments saying things like, well, just because you have acne doesn't mean that people can't have perfect skin. The picture's not edited, you're just jealous. Or, apparently a stage manager once said that she's beautiful with no makeup, that her skin is super pale and her lips are naturally cherry pink, and Asian girls just have skin like that. Their pores are naturally small. You can't see them. Don't complain just because you're used to looking at Europeans. And this is interesting, right? It's a microcosm of this already very large and complicated idea that we have in modern culture. If I'm to break it down, I think there's 3 steps, 3 assumptions that lead into each other. 1. A woman's most important quality is that she's beautiful. 2. Beauty must occur naturally, otherwise it's a lie. And 3. If a woman lies to make herself more beautiful, this would be plastic surgery, makeup, photo editing, whatever, then she's actually ugly, and therefore she's worthless. And all that's bad, but I'm mostly interested right now in the natural part, the true beauty part. When did we come to this conclusion that in order for someone to be beautiful, it must be a deeply inherent, permanent characteristic? Because that's not reflective of reality, is it? Naturally, beauty is very subjective and also very fleeting. And I don't just mean that in the typical sense where obviously when you're 90 you're going to look different from when you're 25. On a day-to-day basis, it's a malleable state. When you go to bed, you can tie up your hair in an unflattering way. Your makeup can smear when it's hot. You can have something stuck in your teeth. You can turn your head and stand facing a certain way, and then whoever is observing you catches you at an unattractive angle. In photography, things like poses and lighting and camera angles are so important because certain combinations of these things make people look frumpy or plain, but then others can make that same person stunning. So beauty is a state, not a trait, and it comes into being as these flashes, these little moments, but it's never and cannot be constantly maintained. And you can put in the work to give yourself more beautiful moments. You can learn to style your hair and do your makeup and wear clothes that suit you. You can pay attention to your posture and your facial expressions, and you can learn these picture poses and so on. That's difficult. It's a lot of work. So why don't we praise the work? Why do we insist on pretending that there wasn't any work? When we see a beautiful woman, we can't just say, wow, she looks great. We have to have this caveat, an asterisk at the bottom of the page that reads, and she'd better never look any different. But do you think the most beautiful woman in the world is going to be beautiful at 3 a.m., fast asleep with no makeup, her face smushed sideways into a pillow and drool all over her cheek? Maybe she'll be more beautiful than some other random person, and surely if you love her, that's going to be an endearing image. But at the very least, she won't be as beautiful as she is when she's all put together. From the right angle, with the right hair, awake. But we don't want to believe that. We don't want to think of it that way. I woke up like this. We have to frame it through this true, false, natural, unnatural dynamic, where the expectation, not even really the ideal, just the expectation, is this constant, totally effortless state of perfection that doesn't actually exist. So I feel bad for this K-pop idol, right? I mean, her life is probably better than most people's on Earth. And if I were her, I would never go near a comments section, not with a 10-foot pole. But it's got to be kind of rough, right? All these people who say they love her, who are so quick to jump to her defense. But they're defending her, really, against accusations of being like herself. They say the filtered skin is what she actually looks like. Well, doesn't that mean that whatever's under the filter isn't good enough? If her lips are pale without makeup when she's tired. Oh, but they say her lips are naturally red. They say some people don't get dark circles under their eyes, and that's why she's special. But she knows that she does. She knows that she isn't perfect. She's the one occupying the body, after all, and dealing with all its natural inconveniences and indignities and its changing daily flaws. And in this framework, what conclusion could she come to? One where her heavily altered appearance is held up not just as beauty, but as truth, as what is expected of her, what should be effortless and automatic and natural for her. Well, in that mindset, she must think of herself as a terrible liar. Seems to me the kind of world that would drive you crazy.